Things are about to look very different in the spiritual community as we learn the difference between a leader and a power lover and are pushed to stop giving away our power. For the last few thousand years, we have been societally conditioned to seek trusted external authorities. When humans developed agricultural practices, government and centralized religion came with it, and with this, we became societally conditioned to stop trusting ourselves and to seek answers in external authorities. Because of this, in the past, most people who leave mainstream religion or simply just choose to enter into an alternative form of spirituality immediately do so by searching for some sort of guide to put their trust in. As we see our gurus, our trusted guides, our spiritual leaders fighting with each other about who's right and who's wrong. I have the answers. No, I have the answers. When in truth, one person could never speak for a mass collective. Like we are all individual, unique souls with unique spirits. We are being massively failed by trusted spiritual leaders. And this does not mean that there will be no more leaders or no more leader types of people, no more guides, no more spiritual guidance. And it doesn't make these external authorities evil or bad because we were societally conditioned to function this way, to have a few people speaking for the many. It simply means that the facade that one person can speak for the many about ultimate universal truths is being broken, and we are learning the difference between a leader and a power lover. A power lover wants to be on top, wants to be in charge, wants to be noticeably on top, and you will notice that a power lover is often going to speak for others, is going to tell you what is correct for you and what you should do and what you should not do. This is a power lover who is still under the illusion of hierarchy, especially when it comes to spirituality. A leader does not wish to be noticeably on top. They want to uplift their community. You won't notice a leader lording their information over you because a leader is going to be primarily focused on helping people to figure out what is true for them and helping people to nurture what is true, what is effective, what is authentic to them versus telling people what is correct for them. I came back to clarify this is how you can easily tell the difference between a leader and a power lover. Okay, a power lover is going to focus on their value, what they have to offer you, how much more knowledgeable and skillful they are than the average person. It's going to be centered around their value. A leader is going to be centered around your value and how to help you find your value. And this does not mean that people can't be confidently expressing what they're good at and what their skills are. I am talking about emphasis, right? So I think we're moving into a world where people can confidently acknowledge their skills and ability and their value, but that's going to be shared. It's not going to be focusing on one person having more value than everyone else. So it's about the emphasis. Is the emphasis on your spiritual guide on their value or on your value? And as I watch the illusion of external authorities crumbling, I see the spiritual community becoming a very different place. With the death of the guru and the rise of the leader, I think that there is going to be a lot less of people being followed unquestionably by the masses and a lot more of leaders pulling people up, empowering people to the point where there's more horizontal. The spiritual community is more of a sharing of ideas and gifts and practices. I think there's going to be a lot less mass following unquestionably and a lot more community flow, if that makes sense. And the two things that I've noticed that really are solidifying this idea for me is that one, in a lot of spaces, people who lord their expertise over others are being heavily scrutinized, not only by their own communities, but by each other. They're literally like, they're at each other's throats all the time. And two, the rise of leaders in popularity, of people who their approach is not to tell you what's correct and what you should be doing. Their approach is literally to help people to find what is best for them and what will make them most successful and most fulfilled, those people are becoming more popular and we're seeing more of them pop up. So the timeline of events for this to happen that I see is number one, the power lovers, the gurus, the spiritual leaders, the macro influencers, they are going to go through a massive humbling. And I feel as though we're already seeing it. And I do believe it is a spirit led humbling. I firmly believe that spirit does teach and guide and lead in different ways. And right now, we are seeing the people who love power and love to lord their power and their expertise over people going through a huge humbling as their community is like they're at each other's throats, like I said. I don't think that they're evil or they deserve punishment or anything like this. I think that there is a lot of societal conditioning and internalized capitalistic trauma to go into this. I think a lot of people believe that in order to be successful, they have to be on top, and this is not the case. I actually think and this is what I see for the future, not just of the spiritual community, but in general. I see this playing out in the next 10, 20 years, that we're going to move from a place where most people believe, and it is like mainstream to believe, that in order to be successful, you have to be on top. And what we're moving into is a reality in which we understand that the most successful societies are ones that are everybody's lifting everybody up. There's no on top. There's no this person's better than that person. There is community support, community flow, community abundance. And that's what we're moving into. So, number one, I think that the people who unfortunately believe in and uphold power loving hierarchy are going through a spirit led humbling right now. Number two, I think the people who have a craving to help others find their own truth and harness their own gifts are going to rise in popularity. And it's going to be more of a even like, I think we're seeing the death of like mass followings. I really do. Which is fine because when we have community support, we become stronger. We don't need like the masses are asses, okay? So I think that many people have been called for the last few years to, or more, depending on the person, to help people to find their own truth and harness their own gifts in the way that is most fitting for them. And I think those people, we're going to start to see them rise and we're going to start to see them become the type of people are listening to, because for a long time it was the people who know how to lord their power over you that people instinctively want to listen to. We were searching for external authorities to tell us what's true, and as we're seeing that nobody can tell you what's true for you, we're seeing external authorities crumble, and in its wake will rise the people who want to help you find you. The next thing I see happening is a community in which, like I said, there is more of a sharing of ideas, of gifts, because we need the people who want to help us find us. Because let's be honest, there are subtle gatekeeping tactics within like gurus and spiritual leaders because they want to have the power over you. But there are people who exist, they're just not as popular yet, who don't want power over you. They want to teach you how to figure things out for yourself. They have done it for themselves, and now they want to teach you how to figure it out for yourself, right? And they're going to start getting more popular. And when they become more popular, they're going to uplift much of the spiritual community to the point where it becomes more of an abundant flow and less of a this clique versus that clique, the masses following blindly what their guru, what their preferred spiritual leader says. It's going to be give and take. And the reason for this is because when we have power lovers being centered, people who want to lord their power and their expertise over you, people don't get a chance to learn themselves. They don't get a chance to learn their truth. They don't get a chance to learn their gifts, their talents, what they're good at, the message they want to share. They don't get a chance to learn what they have to offer because somebody is positioning themselves at the top. So as we have the people positioning themselves as better than everyone and the only correct, because when they're the only correct, everyone else's gift is suppressed. If we have power lovers at the top who are my way or the highway, that means your unique individual spark and my unique individual spark and Susie Q's individual unique spark and all like every person's individual unique spark is suppressed. Their inner magic is suppressed because it doesn't fit with the power lovers that we have positioned as better than everyone, right? So when they fall, and the people who seek to pull you out of you, to help you pull you out of you, and to help you share you with the collective, we will have more. It's like more to offer because the other thing is when we suppress, when our spark is suppressed, we're depriving not just ourselves, the entire world of our magic. When we have a world where people are helping people find their own magic and share their own magic, everyone is uplifted and nurtured because of it. But before we can get there, we have to find ourselves.